Well, you may have heard us talking about this one before, talking about the 5 pillars of resilience. Well, joining me on the show today to reflect on this once more, the wonderful Tanya Unkovic. Thanks for being a part of the show.
You are always welcome.
So let's talk about this. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We've got the 5 pillars, which we're going to run through, and we're going to talk about one thing from each that we can work on, particularly during these winter months where maybe it just feels a little bleak. And what have I got to look forward to? Hey, well, there's something that we can be working on. And I'm quite excited about this, Tanya. So let's run through them. What are those 5 pillars of resilience?
Okay, well, the first one is to be physically resilient, physically strong, physically healthy, anything to do with your physical body.
Yeah.
The second one is emotional resilience, to manage your state, your frame of mind. The third one is resilience in your relationships, to have quality relationships. The fourth one is to have professional resilience, whether you're an employee or in business. And the fifth one is more of a spiritual one, spiritual resilience, having meaning and purpose in your life.
Yeah, I mean, these are really big things. And if we can work on at least one thing within these pillars, wow, what a different end to the year it may well be.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so many people are right in the middle of winter right now and they're going, I may as well just eat my way through the rest of winter.
Yeah.
But look, push reset now. Let's say you've got another 8 weeks of cold being inside if you're in the southern hemisphere. Then just make the decision, okay, today I'm going to pick one thing out of each of those pillars of resilience and I'm going to make a positive shift by the end of the winter.
Well, let's start running
Some
through
examples.
these because I'm thinking I'm going to give this one a go, Tanya.
Right.
I do find I find these darker, colder months quite hard. So I reckon this will give me something to work on and to look forward to. So let's start with physical resilience. What are some of the things that we can be looking at and working on there?
Move your body. Move your body. Find an extra 15 minutes a day to move your body.
Okay.
All right. So many of us just want to sit
Oh, yeah.
after dinner and all that. I mean, even if it means doing stretching in front of the television at night, do something like that. Move your body. And also, here's another thing you can do is you can feed your body with nutritious foods, okay? Do something there. What's another example with physical resilience is, those are the 2 big ones, right? But maybe get a little bit stronger.
Yeah. Something that we were talking about off air, and it's not that I've never thought about doing this, but now I think I'm like, yeah, I could do this. Just even buying some lighter weights. It'd have to be lighter for me, Tanya.
Yes.
And actually just starting to work on strength because for women, we kind of need to do that, right?
Yeah. Use the resistance training to keep the toning. That will really help change your shape. So definitely you can get those 1, 2, 3 kilos. That's all you need.
Yeah.
And
I
just
think I
start
could do
at home.
that. Yeah,
Absolutely.
there we go. So that's physical, and I think that's something that all of us can say, yet there's one thing I can do, whether it's going for more walks or perhaps working out at home a little bit more, maybe joining a class, whatever.
Yes.
It's all very helpful. The second one, though, emotional, and this can be a little harder to sort of look at and go, yeah, this is something I need to work on, because often we just don't know, right?
Absolutely. So how to manage your emotional state. So here's one thing you can do. You can actually ask yourself the question, what's my go-to emotion that I find that when I react, I go straight there? So
Right.
It might be anger. It might be, I go into a place of suffering and feeling like a victim, or I get into a hyperactive state. So maybe take note. What is your go-to emotion? And is there anything else you can do to change that? How's that working for you? Going straight to anger, going straight to jealousy. What needs to happen in order for there to be a shift there? So,
Okay, that's
a
quite
big one.
That's a big one. Do we need to be journaling or thinking about these feelings, or how do we even start to know about these go-to emotions?
yeah, well, you can just notice, be mindful. If you're noticing that you get angry a lot, then maybe count how many times during the day you've noticed that you've gone to a place of anger straight away.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing you can do. Something a bit easier to manage your emotional state, and I'd advise everyone to do it anyway, is start your gratitude journal. Okay?
Absolutely. And I think that is brilliant. Since we've talked about it, and we've talked about it a few years now, I haven't quite got to daily, but I certainly try and write a list at least 2 or 3 times a week. It's really helpful.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is to focus on what is good. There's good in everything.
Yeah. And sometimes in the middle of winter when it's cold and you might have had a couple of colds already and you're just feeling a bit icky, that can be hard to find.
I know, but keep searching. You
can do it.
Keep searching.
Even, I always love to write on a gratitude journal, just feeling the warmth of the sun today. If you're inside and you've got that reflecting, it's just such a glorious feeling.
Yeah,
there are things to be grateful for.
Always.
Yeah. So the next one on the list is relationships. There might be some people thinking, I don't need to work on those. They're pretty good. But I think for most of us, we could genuinely say, yeah, there are things that we could do better. So how do we work on this third pillar of resilience, our relationships?
Yeah, well, you can increase your communication. You can make a commitment that actually, let's for the next 8 weeks, increase our communication and be open to meeting each other's needs more. Okay, there's one thing you can do. You can take more time out together to go on a date together. If you are not in a relationship, then take yourself out on a date.
Yeah.
Right? Change the relationship with yourself. If you find that you give yourself a real verbal beating internally, then I'm going to invite you to change that.
Stop it. Stop it. Go get yourself a coffee instead.
Yes. Yeah, just stop it.
Yeah. Okay. So that's relationships. We're looking now to the fourth thing, and that's our professional resilience. And, again, we're talking to a wide range of people this morning. You may be an employee, you may be an employer owning your own business, you might be working from home. Professionally, how do we work on just 1 or 2 things to build this resilience?
Okay, so if you are a business owner, you can ask yourself the question, what is one thing that I can do to add value to my client today?
Yeah.
How can I just step up that little bit more? And it might even just be a phone call to see how are you going? Because, so often we just do the exchange of money versus service and we think that's the end of it. But no, keep the relationship with your clientele going by just checking in on seeing how they are. If you're an employee, well, ask yourself the question, how can I show up at a higher standard today at work? And maybe even do something without making an announcement to everyone that I've done it. Just practice a little bit of humility, but I'm going to give a little bit more. That's tough.
That is tough. And sometimes it's just a matter of opening our eyes and seeing where the need may be.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just putting away the dishes, right?
Yeah, without having to let everyone know you've done it.
Yeah.
Look at me.
I just did the dishes, everyone. I just cleaned up your mess. I mean, there is a real temptation to want to do that, right?
Yes.
For those working at home, and there's many more people in that situation, even now, even a year and a half after COVID and all the times where we were, working from home. But if you're in that situation, how do you show up for yourself at work in your own home?
Oh, well, get out of your pajamas and your track pants and actually dress becomingly. Really, some people, when they are dressed in their digs, as I call them, then that's how they show up at work. But if you are going to speak with someone on Zoom, maybe make sure that your entire body is nicely dressed instead of wearing shorts underneath or something like that, because you will show up in a different state when you feel better about the way you look.
Yeah, I think there's something quite important about that, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I think we often think, oh, what's the big deal? There's something about dressing nicely for your workplace, even if it is at home.
Yes.
That makes you work differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Showing up for your clientele, for your employer, whoever it is.
Now, the last one here, it's such an important one that we often skip off our list, but actually, in order for the others to go well, it's really good to work on the spiritual resilience as well, our relationship with God. So let's talk about some of the ways that we can be doing this.
Surrendering more.
Yep.
Letting go. Your will be done, not mine. Oh, that's a big one, isn't it?
It is really big.
Yeah. And, God, how can I serve another human being? Instead of when we are dealt a tough hand saying, why me? Just, saying, okay, God, how can I use this to help another human being?
And sometimes I think, when we might feel a little bit put out by someone else, letting go of that, right?
Yes. Being willing to let go is the thing, though. Being willing to let go, being willing to forgive, being willing to allow them their humanness. If that's such a word. But, we're all human. We all make mistakes. It's about forgiveness, letting go. It doesn't mean tolerating bad behavior, but it also does mean allowing each of us to grow in a certain way. And sometimes people grow when they make nincompoops of themselves. So let them be a nincompoop without judgment.
Yeah. These are some big things, and I'm excited to explore some of these areas as well over the next few weeks. So when we're talking about those 5 pillars of resilience, let's just run through them quickly again before we go.
Sure. Physical resilience, emotional resilience, resilience in your relationships, resilience in your professional life, and spiritual resilience.
All right. One thing. Pick one thing from each. Work on that for the next little while and just see how you go. I'm going to give it a go as well. Tanya, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. You've got a YouTube channel. People can check you out there. All
of these interviews get on the YouTube channel.
I've made it to YouTube.
You are on YouTube a lot, Diane.
I didn't even know.
So there's plenty of interviews there,
so good.
past and present. So.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much.
You are so welcome.